Hey, this is Robin, and I just pulled a card for you. And this is the Hadrian energy, which is Hadrian Starseed energy, the super sensitive one. The You're able to tap into the emotions of the people and places that you encounter. Another label for the hypersensitive ones. There's so many names. So let's see what this says. It's funny because I actually started a video. Sorry for the bags under my eyes and my allergies. I just woke up. Um, when I went to pull the card, I actually pulled the whale and orca again. And this card is the card consecutively after that card. And I shuffled. I shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled. And I'm not going to keep this format where I'm just going to be reading from a book for cards, but I feel like this collective is being called out. I feel like this collective is being called out to, number one, out of hiding, and number two, out of to embrace your sensitivity, because it's so often said that hypersensitivity in this world can feel like a curse. It's either a curse or a blessing, depending on how you utilize it, understand it, and work with it. And from the message from yesterday, fully embracing yourself as that hypersensitive that you are, and no longer allowing that to keep you in hiding or keep you from living, is what I want to say. What day is it? It's Tuesday. Hadrian. They're believed to be beacons of pure, divine, unconditional love who see love in all people and situations. As a result, they can find it hard to have boundaries, interdependent, healthy relationships, because they only see the unconditional nature of those they meet. This also ties in with falling in love with potential instead of seeing and accepting reality for what it is when it comes to relationships. Because you see people like that doesn't mean that they're functioning through that energy. The lovers of the cosmos, they dive in fast. They're here to learn how to love while in separate bodies, to learn to love self first, and then establish healthy relationships with others, to remember that the love they seek is already within them, and that they truly do have the love all on their own. If you are dealing with someone within a spiritual connection contract, until we pour all of that love into ourselves, and until we are not coming from a place of need, it's not like I need a partner. It starts to turn into, I would like, not even, it doesn't have to be like romantically either, but it would be nice to have companionship while I'm here. And so we go through this transitional phase where we have to learn to love ourselves, which, depending on what you've been through in your life, can be quite challenging. And sometimes a lot of people go through the phase of writing love off completely and sort of surrendering to, oh, well, I just like to be alone and I don't need anyone for anything, which can become a trap because you're not meant to be here and be alone. We're meant to have relationships with people that are helpful and equally reciprocating with one another, which I feel like I didn't really experience a whole lot of that, and taking accountability that in some cases I was not mature enough to be in a relationship like that. And then at a certain point being on the other side of it where I was finally starting to come out of certain things and the other person couldn't meet me where I was at. And so it's a very delicate balance, but the key is loving yourself first, putting yourself first, focusing on your life first. Not that you have to have every single little thing figured out or that it has to follow some type of checklist, but that both parties are open and willing to authentically communicate with one another and choose to be partners. The message on this card is to review the way you may need to establish healthier boundaries. Perhaps you're in a codependent relationship in which you may be losing your sense of self. It's common for starseeds to dive deep into relationships, particularly with those who feel safe and familiar at a soul level. But where are you connecting from your wounding? Because I think that we've all experienced that dynamic where we connected with people based on our similar wounding, and then you think that you're going to be the safe space for both of your woundings, but you're still functioning from your woundings, through your woundings, and you bring that into the relationship. It's almost like trying to put a band-aid over certain things within a relationship, and that doesn't ever work. I'm sorry. My allergies are yuck. And that's another really big thing to keep in mind, is that we have soul contracts with people where we are meant to move through these cycles, but it's based in breaking free from the karmic loops and wounding. And so if you can recognize where someone is functioning from and why they are the way they are and why they're treating you the way they're treating you, good and bad, having the courage and the strength to stand alone until and unless someone can meet you, or at least you being able to sense a willingness and openness for true communication and healing within both. So nobody is ever fully healed. We are very complex creatures. We are multi-dimensional beings. We are carrying subconsciously so much. But if you are in the energy of addressing what comes up for you to look at in real time, you are doing your work. Perhaps you're in a relationship in which you give more than you receive, or perhaps there's a certain volatility to it, and you're always unsure where you stand. This is a card and a sign to do a relationship review and see what energetic agreements you've made, consciously or unconsciously. To acknowledge if there are relationships in which you feel anxious or powerless, in which you don't feel like it's safe to relax and just be you. To assess if there are any places of inadequacy that you've used a relationship to soothe or cover up, and to be really honest about it. There are many beautiful examples of the ancient love. And what is ancient love? Two people who see and understand what they truly are, their true nature, and then just choose to experience and walk together for a little while until it's time to transition off of this planet. It's not a needy love. It's a genuine, and honestly, I don't feel like I have ever met anyone that I feel like every relationship I've ever been involved in, I always felt, do you even like me? That's messed up. Like, I don't even know if you even like me, let alone love me, you know? That's a really horrible feeling, and I'll never. It's like you want to meet someone who actually likes you. Do you lose yourself in relationships? If so, how? Because I've gone through a very interesting cycle. And I really don't like the terms of twin flame, soulmate, even though there are twin flame dynamics and soulmate dynamics, and you can understand what those terms mean, but the twin flame dynamic is really about you are going to trigger the absolute most out of each other, on both sides. And then each person has the opportunity to elevate up out of whatever triggering, wounding energy comes through each individual. And I've recently been through a cycle of this, but this time I was so consciously aware of what was happening, and that my boundaries and understanding was already so set in stone, but I could still so very deeply relate to this other person. And I could also see all of the wounding that was coming through, and knowing simultaneously, like, I won't be a part of any of this because I've already been through these types of cycles before, and I've already left that behind. And what ended up happening was I remained in my own energy. And on the other side, that's what I'm saying. You each have the opportunity to see, how are you going to deal with your triggering or this wounding that's coming up in you. And it triggered a lot out of me that I had to look at and resolve. But on the other side of it, that person flipped out. And so experiencing it in real time with that broader perception was real different for me. We're still good friends, and that person is actually trying and is elevating but it's not your responsibility. And learning how to tap into these broader perspectives while you're in the cycle is a completely different experience. And so I feel that when somebody actually meets you on your level, you're going to be able to feel it so undeniably, which I have not experienced up until this point. But that was an interesting experience, because prior I had never been able to pinpoint any of that, because I was also within a lot of wounding during those times. How can you develop a deeper love for yourself? By really meditating with these types of things and really allowing yourself the time and space to ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want to experience? How do I want to feel? What would make me feel safe? And being able to be whole and complete within yourself before you are even thinking about a partnership. It's a completely different way of thinking than what the old paradigm tells us. Do this and this and this and get married and have children and everything will be great. Really? Yeah. So I don't know why this came through, but maybe it needed to find someone. Always put yourself first. No one is going to look after you better than you and the universe are going to look after you. And if you are willing to look after you in truth and in honesty and in genuine willingness to notice what it is in you that needs to be looked at, the universe is going to rock you like a little baby as you shed these things, and your energy elevates as you go. And then the people, places, and things that you need will show up. So, as always, you are not alone. You are so beautiful and unique. And I will see you in the next one.